Hello everyone, welcome to CFC Fan TV. Now we have some breaking news. Antonio Conte just done a press conference and said that he basically acknowledges that he may not be at the club next season, which is obviously super worrying. I've got some friends here to join me to discuss the topic. Finally we're all together, but this is not really a happy day, is it, Charles?
No, it's not. I mean, you know, no matter how much you like a manager, no matter how well you think things are going, over the last 10, 15 years, you know Chelsea will find some way of mucking it all up. We know that not winning the league at this club, which we're not going to do in all probability, that can be enough to get you the sack. We know that the relationship between Conte and the board isn't the best. That's just a fact. You know, everything we hear from Conte, you know, he's been pretty unveiled about that really when he talks about transfers and when he talks about certain happenings at the club, especially in the summer and kind of more recently as well. And then this last press conference is kind of the biggest thing yet. We've seen a lot of stories this week about Allegri or Ancelotti. They're just whisperings there in the Italian press, but Conte has used the Italian press before to kind of, he's clearly got a lot of contacts over there. Yeah. He's used it to kind of make his feelings known. And I love Conte. Just speaking purely as a fan, I absolutely love Conte. I think he's the best thing about Chelsea. I was so impressed. I've never seen a manager come in, probably unlike, maybe apart from Mourinho the first time, I've never seen a manager come in and completely like clean the club and instill his philosophy at a club in the way that he won the league last season. But, you know, no matter how much you love someone as a manager, you know that they're not going to be around for 5-10 years at Chelsea. It's just not going to happen.
Rory, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a disaster. I think it's really bad news. I think it's important to put it in perspective. What he said that he's not saying he's going to be there, which is also not saying he's not going to be there.
No, of course.
So there is still potential, and fingers crossed this can all be resolved, and Antonio Conte will lead Chelsea into the new season in August. It doesn't feel like it's going to happen, does it? It feels like it's quite a long suicide note that's being written constantly. And
well, he's right though when he says that you can win the league one season at Chelsea, if you don't win it the next, you're sort of out, as well as a lot of other clubs have a bit more patience in the fact that they're happy with the title every other year or every other couple of years.
Yeah, I think what is important to acknowledge here is there haven't really, I mean, I know you can spin it any way you want, but there haven't really been any drastic failings from Antonio Conte.
No, there haven't.
The reason that Chelsea aren't going to win the league this year is due to Pep Guardiola and Manchester City's brilliance. And I think sometimes, not always, but there are times when you need to occasionally step back and just acknowledge and admire someone else doing so well. It isn't that you haven't done well. You know, we've been on a very good run. We've been playing very well. There've been some obviously poor results in amongst it. Burnley stands out, Crystal Palace stands out, West Ham away stands out. But overall, over the course of the campaign, it hasn't been bad. We've accrued a pretty impressive points tally, and we would be at least fighting for the league if it wasn't for this exceptional Manchester City team that has never been seen before. Nobody's ever done this, what they've done. No. They're breaking all sorts of records. So
well, they do spend
but it's a shame,
money.
But they have to put it right. I really do believe that Chelsea now need to get this sorted out and need to get Antonio Conte. I think they need to back him.
Would I be right in saying that it feels to me like he's more likely to leave, not if we don't win a trophy this season, but if his relationship isn't resolved? Well, not resolved, but I mean if it isn't better by the time we finish the season, because that's what I feel like the main problem is here, because all Antonio Conte, like I say, I don't think we've had the worst transfer windows, but in terms of who Antonio Conte said to the board, okay, I think I need these players to win this trophy, and he hasn't been given them quite clearly.
So you don't think it's going to be related to our trophy haul?
I think no, I don't know if it may be, but I to me, whenever Antonio Conte does a press conference, he doesn't even need to say anything. You can just tell that he's thinking, well, no wonder they're so far ahead. Of course, Man City have done something silly, but I feel like he thinks he could have closed the gap a lot more.
I think the relationship is very, very poor. I don't think it gets a lot better, because I think Chelsea operate one way that probably won't ever change under this current regime. Conte is a very, very specific, controlling manager with fantastic results, but that's the way that he works. But surely managers know this when they come to Chelsea. They say this time and time again. The board don't really give them who they want. Fine, but find me someone who's willing to work like that, and then they may be willing to work like that when they get the job. Then 2 years down the line, maybe they've won the league, maybe they've gone deep in the Champions League, they might have won the FA Cup. Every manager in the world feels they're owed time, feels they're owed, the backing to go and get the players they want. And I agree. He obviously didn't say I'm leaving Chelsea.
However, if Chelsea were to, if something marvellous were to happen in Kiev in May, if Chelsea were to lift the Champions League, Chelsea don't sack a Champions League.
No, they can't. Pretty much the only way I think that Conte can stroll in there and demand what he wants is by winning trophies.
Yeah.
I'd love us to win the FA Cup, but I don't. Put it this way, I think the real key here is, you just kind of alluded to it anyway, is what happens against Barcelona. If we get beaten badly over 2 legs, I think that will cause a situation that's not pleasant at the minute, and I'm talking professional relationships. I think that will deteriorate very, very quickly.
Yeah. But I think that's also down to the fact I'm going to back Antonio Conte on this one, because
of course I think we all are.
To be able to, I'm not saying it's impossible that we can't beat Barcelona, because we've done it before and anything can happen with a much weaker team, in my opinion. But he hasn't been given the players that he feels he needs to win these big trophies, or even not even just win, just compete against other teams, because he hasn't been. Our team this season has no way performed like we did last season, and we haven't been as good. I don't think it's a disaster, but we definitely haven't been. In my eyes, if we didn't win a trophy this season, it wouldn't be surprising. At the moment, we're sort of in 3 competitions.
I don't think that we'll end this season empty-handed, though. I really don't. I think we're going to beat Arsenal. I'm almost sure we'll beat Norwich and Newcastle.
Yep.
Well, I think this season for me has the potential to be amazing, or the complete reverse effect. I don't think there's an in between.
You can't say what's going to happen in the FA Cup. You know, Chelsea are capable. One thing I've always loved about us in the last 15 years, we're not one of these teams that just puts out a load of kids in the FA Cup and happily go out to,
Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, exactly. We do go for every competition, and look, we're in the second leg of a semi-final in the League Cup, so you can't say we're not in the running for that trophy.
Yeah, it's a bit strange to me.
It does feel like the writing's on the wall, though, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, barring what we've basically concluded here is, barring Antonio Conte winning the Champions League in Kiev, which would be incredible, isn't out of it's not completely impossible, but it is exceptionally unlikely. Barring that happening, he's going to leave. Is that what we've concluded?
At this point, I'll be surprised if he's at Chelsea this time next year. I will.
Yeah, it feels like the writing's on the wall. It feels like...
To me, I think this rests... For me, at the moment, how our form is, this rests on... Because I see our team actually doing okay at the moment. The only thing that we don't have is on-form strikers. We don't have one. They don't exist at the moment. So we can get that
Chelsea mad to let Antonio Conte go, though. Who'd you get in?
I haven't got a clue. They would be mad to let him go, and we've seen this over the past. I think some of our success, some of our amazing success, has almost been in spite of our strategy, our kind of long-term strategy, which there doesn't really seem to be one.
But I think, when you've got Arsenal fans complaining because they've got a manager that they think has done great for the club, but he's overstayed his welcome.
And then you've 20 years.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. But then you've got us on the flip side, when we basically sack a manager the minute they haven't won a title. Surely there must be some sort of in-between here, long term.
There is.
We're not comparable to Arsenal. I think the Arsenal situation is the only one that's like that. Football has changed, and Arsenal are the last remaining remnants of that old-style long-term manager. I doubt they'll ever have a manager for that period of time again.
What I'm saying is, I'm asking, can Chelsea not find some sort of happy medium where...
No, they can't, because that's not their strategy. You'd like to think they could, and that's what other clubs strive to do. That's what Man City are clearly trying to do with Pep Guardiola.
No, but I think
just to play devil's advocate, though, Soph.
We're going to run out of managers.
I agree. I agree with you. I think it's a travesty.
We have, because we've employed the same one a couple of times. But this is what I mean. But I
think Antonio Conte is probably I feel like we need to stick with him, because the way he works, the way he changed our formation, I feel like that's the sort of thing that's the sort of manager I would look for.
From a fan's point of view, I completely agree with you, but that's not the way Chelsea do things.
We're going to run out of managers. And there's not going to be any left to employ.
The other key, I don't want to put too much emphasis on this, but this row we had with David Luiz. David Luiz is a big favourite of Abramovich and the Chelsea hierarchy. He's a very influential man at that club.
He's not for me.
And if you don't work
But
at
it
the club,
doesn't
so.
matter though.
No,
Yeah.
I know. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's ridiculous.
Christensen's been incredible. I don't want to suggest that Louise is has got the power to like make them all he's not puppet master of everything, but it's indicative of him, of the squad as a whole, kind of buying a little bit less into Conte's methods. Some big personalities clashing with Conte a little bit, or quite a lot, really.
It's often the beginning of the end, though, isn't it? We saw it with AVB when AVB started falling out with the more senior professionals of that era.
But it's two completely different kettle of fish, though.
Yeah, but I don't think you can compare David Luiz to JT and Frank and that.
Well, exactly. I mean, Villas-Boas.
You can't compare David Luiz to John Terry.
In terms of he left, he went to PSG and then decided to come back because he couldn't win a trophy. That's that.
Villas-Boas kind of came in and the team wasn't doing well. Conte's won the league, Roberto Di Matteo's got a very interesting podcast out talking about it. He said that dressing room that he won the Champions League with, it was the most difficult dressing room he was ever involved with, playing or managing.
Really?
Such strong personalities. Don't think we have that level of strong personalities, but David Luiz would be a very strong personality. He's a big favourite with the hierarchy of the club, and I think he could outlast Conte at Chelsea. I really do.
What do you think? Do you think Antonio Conte will be at the club next season? What do you think is going on? Do you think he's got a good relationship with the board? Comment below and we will see you all super soon. If you like this video, click the subscribe button.